Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures, and today I am with my friend Neil Hinkley, and you may recognize him from one of my past videos. I'll link that up at the top about Food Forest. And today Neil has been put on my very favorite person of the year list. He brought me something really, really special. Tell me what this is.
So this is a pistachio seedling, and these are kind of a special one because these are from a local university that's actually a few hours north of here. So significantly colder climate, higher elevation too. And these are seedlings from trees that were planted there in the 70s by some Iranian students that came to the school. And they've been growing on a hillside there without irrigation ever since. And so it's pretty unusual to find pistachios that'll survive our cold, high altitude climate. And so these are really exciting in that way. But since they're seedlings, we don't really know exactly how well they'll do in this area, but they've been doing pretty well so far. I have 5 other seedlings that I planted last year in my yard, and they survived the winter just fine. They're growing, so I'm pretty encouraged by that. Also, the guy that I got those seeds from, he's planted probably 50 or so of them in Utah Valley, and they've all survived well as well.
So that's a huge thing. Where do you usually find pistachios?
California.
Yeah.
Usually really hot places with mild winters, so any commercial variety won't survive in this area.
Yeah, so I'm thinking anywhere we can plant these is great.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of to see if we can establish it. If we could establish pistachios in the state of Utah, that's big.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Utah State is doing a breeding program right now.
Yeah.
With these, so starting from those original 3 trees that they've had on campus.
Yeah.
And I think they're on their 2nd generation now, trying to get a more cold hardy commercially viable pistachio going, but that's still probably 20 years away.
Yeah.
So these are a good option in the meantime.
So what did you do? How did you even start these?
So I was actually up in the area for work last winter, or last October about. So I went and scavenged some seeds myself and took them home and carefully cracked them open. And then I just stuck them in the dirt with my vegetable starts in probably early March.
Magic touch. This is gorgeous. Well, I am really, really excited to plant this. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Now, these are they're not going to be available to really anybody else until maybe USU gets that project going.
Yeah, or if somebody wants to go scavenge their own seeds, it can be a little tricky because I think a lot of people try and get them.
Yeah, you're going to have hordes of people there. So we're going to probably not tell you where that area is.
Yeah, it's not that hard to find if you look it up, but it's, I was there in October, like I said, and I spent 20 minutes and got, I think, 5 viable seeds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there wasn't that much. I mean, last year was kind of a rough year anyway.
Yeah.
Because of the cold spring and early frost, but yeah.
Well, very, very exciting. Yeah, well, maybe one of these days we can do a video and kind of go see how your food forest is doing this year.
Yeah.
Because I think you probably put some new things in there.
A few, not too many this year.
Too many this year?
I'm trying to get the backyard ready.
Oh, that's going to be fun. Because
yeah,
you have a large area back there.
Yeah, it's a big undertaking.
Okay, well, I will update you on how these go. So thank you very much for joining us today. It's a little shorter video, but I was really excited. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to be here.
Welcome back. It's been a few days since Neil gave me my wonderful pistachio trees, and I just spent a few hours, literally a few hours, digging out shrubs and preparing a spot for this pistachio. And let me show you where I'm going to put it. Now, for those of you who have seen my property before, as I pan through this area, you may or may not notice something missing. Through here, we had my beautiful chokecherry tree. Now, I'm going to link a video I made of cutting a girdling root off of it. That tree did not make it, unfortunately, and I had Dan Owen come and remove it for me. I just have to tell you how impressed I was with his removal services. This tree was 25 feet tall or so. It was a big tree, and it was you can see where the trunk is, right over my apple trees, and he did not break one branch on my apple trees. When I got here, you couldn't even tell he'd been here. He does an amazing job. But that happened last week, it happened last Friday. And Sunday is the day that Neil came and brought my pistachios. Now, from what I've read, and I don't know how true it is because nobody really has a lot of experience with pistachios in Utah, but the pistachios at USU that are growing there are growing on arid hillsides. So I have a hillside here. It's not completely arid, but it doesn't get a ton of water. It's a very rocky slope and it doesn't have a lot of fertility in it. So I'm hoping that replicates what they were experiencing at USU. So let me show you the hole that I dug. So now this is the hole that I dug. There was a large cotoneaster here. You can see the remnants of another part of it right through there. It's a little difficult to see, but I've poisoned that one, pulled out the other one. It took me hours. And I had to use my handy dandy pickaxe, as usual, to dig a hole here. This ground is very hard to dig holes in. But as you can see, the plants don't seem to mind. They grow beautifully on this hill. So the tree is going to get 10 by 10. So I figure it's not going to shade anything in this area. It's going to have plenty of room, so let's get planting. Now we do have an irrigation line right here. This one gets turned on twice a week, and so I think it'll get plenty of water. It has plenty of room to grow downhill, so it doesn't have to get girdled by the irrigation line. And let's look at the roots on this. Neil said that he planted these. There's little fine roots all over it, so I'm not going to disturb it. But Neil said he planted these in March. So they're really doing well. So I'm going to plant it to the depth of where the soil was in the pot. I'm going to make a little bit of a well so when the water runs, it doesn't just continue to run down the hill. It'll be stopped a little bit. And then I'm going to push the mulch back over it. Now, I did not amend the soil because trees really don't like that. They don't like to have the soil amended. They have large root systems. They're perfectly capable of sending their roots out to look for nutrients in the soil. So there's no need to amend it, no need to fertilize it. I'm just going to push the mulch back around it so it stays, so the roots stay safe and moist. Now I'm not going to bury the stem with the mulch because trees also do not like to have their stems buried. Okay, I am done planting. Now I'm going to need to make sure this stays moist while it gets established. I'm going to have to really wing it. I don't know how much water it's going to be able to tolerate or how much it's going to need, so I'm just going to watch it for stress. But I'm really excited. I'm hoping this takes and thrives here, and I will keep you updated. So thank you for coming. I hope you have a wonderful garden adventure and go out and plant something fun.